Dobre páni, ideme na to, ideme to prehodiť. Za chvíľu to oficiálne spustíme. Túto fantasmagóriu. Šmáci dostali troška servátky a teraz to vylizujú. Takže tu sme OK. Dobre páni, ideme na to, ideme to prehodiť. Dobre, takže oficiálne začíname. Začíname 885. Začíname 885. relaxačný tréningový deň. Je 22.4.2026. Sú klikožrouty 100, 90, 80, 70 a 60 kliksterov PCR. Začíname 18.51, pustíme tohto piču ako podmác. Prvá séria 100 klikožroutov, 100 kliksterov.
Fallout 76 got a brand new update which topped out at around 25 gigabytes if you're on Xbox and only 8 gigabytes if you're on Steam, so depending on what platform, it may have impacted the time you're waiting for the update. Now this update was a lot bigger than expected, adding in a whole bunch of bug fixes, which to be fair I only thought they'd add in a couple. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you the 10 biggest changes that they threw in. However, before I do that, if you're brand new to the channel and want to keep up to date with everything Fallout 76, including up-to-date guides, all the latest news going on in terms of the new update announcements, infestations, what that looks like if you want to check out the PTS, all the mini-season stuff, data mines, literally anything you can think of, it's all going on the channel, so make sure to be subscribed so you don't miss anything. Also, if you enjoy this video, just a small ask from myself, if you could hit that like button, it would be really super supportive and helpful. The more likes the video gets, the more YouTube pushes it, and that one little second of your time can really help me out, so thank you very much. Alright, now diving into the details of the update. For the first change, it seems that a couple of events have had a couple of tweaks since the last update. The last major one brought in like whole bunches of tweaks to every single event in the game, and they've now kind of reviewed that and changed a few of them. These include Distinguished Guests, which now has an increased chance of legendary enemies spawning. To kind of counteract this, they've then taken out the amount of legendaries that spawn in Feed the People. From what I've heard, I didn't really remember seeing this myself when I've played it a couple of times, but apparently this had a whole bunch of legendaries spawning in, which obviously wasn't meant to happen. Now an event change which didn't really kind of hit the performance of the event, but something that kind of impacted the rewards of it is Colossal Problem, where you were meant to be able to get the casual Under Armour style, where this must have had some issues because now they've shared that it can be earned from completing Colossal Problem. Now at number 2, if you are someone that likes to use the Fusion and Plasma Core recharges, these things are honestly like a godsend. If you use them in your shelters though, you might want to go and check them out because they've actually been removed from being used in shelters. This now adds in with like food items, collectors, all the rest of it. This has now been thrown into the mix. Now the next change on the list at number 3 is one which I found particularly confusing, alright, because this one says, fixed an issue where the mystery magazine box was not lootable from the evidence collection assistant collectron. I hate the name of that thing so much. But anyways, the reason I'm talking about this and saying it's not gone as expected is this is in the patch notes saying that they fixed it. However, as you can see from the footage, it isn't fixed. I went through it, I collected it, I went and checked my inventory, and nothing was there. It didn't like automatically open them as magazines, it didn't go into my stash box, it just didn't work. Now there is a workaround for this, I believe. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think you've got to take out so many of them or scrap the actual machine, I think it might be, and then they go into your inventory. Something like that was working before the update. I don't know if it still is. Let me know in the comments if it is. But for me, this is just clearly not fixed. Now just a really dodgy one, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in patch notes before, but they've fixed an issue where water purifiers were listed in the metal doors category of the workshop menu. Yep, something like I say, I've not seen this ever happen before, but apparently this is the case this time around and it's been fixed. As you can see, I did double check this one and yeah, I couldn't see anything dodgy going on, so hopefully it's okay. Next up, the build limit has been removed from everyone using the Rip Daring Cache as well as the Crashed Cargo. These are both kind of utility items which allows you to collect items into your camp and produce these items technically would be the term. And previously before this update you couldn't have both of these down at the same time. This has now been changed and now you can have both. As you can see on the footage, it works just fine. There's been some more tweaks in relation to locked items as well. This is clearly something that's like ongoing. They're finding little issues and tweaking them out of there. Scrap kits are now no longer going to scrap locked items. So they're going to completely ignore them. This should hopefully stop you from like going out finding items that you want to use to craft specific items, or even use them in displays at your camp where you want to lock them, take them back to your camp.
Tretia séria.
All this type of thing should hopefully
80 klikov, že to 80
issue.
klik stereo.
Potentially the biggest change in the entire of this update has got to be this one, and this is fix an issue preventing some players from receiving rare items from daily ops. So basically for, I don't even know how long now, daily ops is meant to have been broken, where if you go and do it, you're meant to get the rare rewards, and these just haven't been getting given out to players. I've seen so many comments about this in my Minerva videos that I post, and when I upload like the 20 best items from daily ops, the comments was literally full of people saying that the daily ops rewards were broken. So thankfully this is now fixed. I'll pin that video up in the top right of this video at some point during this one, so if you want to go check that out, feel free. But now though, just a beautiful change. Now the next change on the list is a bit of an odd one, and I don't know whether or how to take this one. So it says explosions from multi-projectile attacks, including like the Gauss shotgun, two-shot explosive legendary mods, etc., should now retain more of their damage when facing enemies with high resistances. Now there is another like little note somewhere along the lines which kind of slightly contradicts this and confuses it, and there's a lot of people talking about two-shot explosives getting nerfed in this update. Once again, I can't believe we're still talking about this like 6-7 years bloody later, because this has been an ongoing thing for years now. But basically this one here makes it sound like they're not getting nerfed and they're actually going to be okay, like hence the word retain, like it's keeping that damage when facing high resistances rather than losing it. So to me that means they're either staying as they are, or they're actually going to be a little bit better than they were, if that makes sense. I'm not entirely sure. Let me know what you think about this one, but it's definitely one that stood out for me, and I just need to probably test it out in game. I'll wait for some of the scientists in the community to properly get on that. Now it would appear that the new Dom Pedro mods that came out quite recently now, these have been a little bit all over and a little bit broken. These now have been resolved, as you can see on these three notes here. The Dom Pedro aligned grips now have aligned properties, stabilized has stabilized, and true grips have true properties. So there you go. Now finally, the last change on this list before we go into other areas of the news now. This one's in relation to legendary perk cards. This is a change that came in the last major update, and I said it at the time, why they didn't just remove this I didn't know, and now they have. Like, I don't know why they just didn't do this in the first place. It really makes no sense, because basically you had to use your perk coins to then kind of unequip a legendary perk card, and then they made it free. So then it just had a pop-up saying, do you want to use 0 perk coins to remove this? And there was no point in it whatsoever, but they kept it in the game. Now, a month or two later, they've decided to take it out, so just do it in the first place. I don't get it. Now that's just kind of 10, it's actually technically more than 10 changes, but that's 10 of the main ones which I am covering today. If there's anything in the patch notes which you think is kind of been skipped across by myself, let me know in the comments below. I'll pin the
60 klikov, že to 60 klik
in
stereo.
the description. But now for other bits and bobs that's been going on these last couple of days, there was a post in the Discord by Rich saying that we wanted to follow up the Atoms influx issue we saw last week. This was basically something I briefly spoke about in another video previously on the channel, where there was some issue going around where people either got their monthly Fallout first atoms or they bought atoms, and when they did, they received an extreme amount of atoms. They've now shared a little post on this saying last week we saw reports that some Fallout first subscribers on Steam had an influx of atoms granted to their accounts. We've identified this as an issue that granted some Fallout first subscribers their monthly 1,650 atoms benefit for previous months multiple times. We were then able to address this to prevent it from affecting more players.
No. Je to za nami. Dobre, to za nami. Rekapitulujeme si to. ...885 bol. 885. 885. relaxačný tréningový deň za nami. Bolo 22.4.2026. Skončili sme 19.01. Bolo to dlhý segment, trval 10 minút a 15 sekúnd.